Welcome back to 843 TV. We are now joined by Mr. James Wedgeworth with Charter One Realty. James, thanks for being here today.
Well, this environment's great. I'll come tomorrow if you'd like me to.
All right.
I'll join you.
Now, let me ask you a question. We're in the summer. Is the summertime a good time for real estate sales here on the island?
Well, we usually tell people you have 3 strong seasons. March and April is the strongest season. And October, November is the season kind of like March and April. The summer season is a different market. It's more of a villa market near the beach market. It's slower in the residential Hilton Head Plantation, Palmetto Hall, Indigo Run, Wedgeworth, Long Cove areas. But it is a very busy season for the condo market. And as you know, there are a lot of people on the island right now.
Yes, there is.
Try to drive down 278, they're all here.
No kidding.
A lot of people, though, here in town, but it's been so hot this summer. Has that hurt a little bit traffic-wise as far as people wanting to even just go see a house because it's been so hot?
No, I think they come here expecting it to be hot.
All right.
I mean, if you come to the beach, you expect it to be hot.
Absolutely.
So we never complain about that. You know, that's what you do when you come to the beach is usually hot.
People are still catching up from last winter's nastiness too, so I think
That's
they're
true.
welcoming the heat.
It's not so bad. Nationally, the market seems to be moving pretty well. How are we in line, or are we leading or trailing the market a little bit nationally?
Well, that's a great question. We have a saying in real estate that's all real estate is local, and it's local within local. And now what we have found, unfortunately, the second home vacation market is lagging the first home market. I get calls all the time, and people say, well, real estate's up 20% in Dallas. And I say, well, you're not in Dallas.
Don't live in Dallas.
I don't live in Dallas. Yeah, right. But
and nobody's buying a second home in Dallas.
Yeah, the second home market has not picked up yet, unfortunately. It usually lags the first home market. But the longer you go into economic expansion, you'll reach a point where the second home market will leapfrog the first home market. The problem is we're not there yet. So.
Over a year ago, though, we're probably up everywhere?
We're up a little bit, but I caution people, I use the word we're heading in the right direction. Somebody summed it up the other day. They said, there's light at the end of the tunnel, but we're still in the tunnel. It's probably a good way to look at it, you know.
Timing is everything. Is there a best time for sellers to begin to wrap their brain around getting their home ready to sell?
Not exactly, but if there is a best time, it's usually the spring market. It's more a function of your price, how you compete with your competition, and in a slow market, the interior condition of your houses. We have found in a slow market that people don't want to, quote, fixer-upper. They want a turnkey because there's so many to choose from.
Right, there's too many options.
So that's probably actually more important than the time of the year, the condition. I just listed a house the other day, and the lady said, I really need to sell this house in the next 30 days. I said, well, I got some bad news for you. We got a lot of houses in your price range. And I gave her a list of things to do, and to her credit, she did them all. She replaced the carpet. She had to go in and paint the inside of a house, and it shows like $1 million. And we got 2 people interested in it already because the condition was so good.
There's little things you can do that make a buyer go, ooh, I want that.
Exactly. I want that.
Well, local publications have shown that foreclosures are dropping, which is a good thing here in Beaufort County. Have you found that to be true here?
They are dropping. Unfortunately, we still have a fair number of foreclosures out there. And people really, I don't think the average seller understands the effect that foreclosures have on the market.
Right.
I give you an example if we have time. This guy called me one day and said, I want to sell my house. And I went over and looked at his house. And he said, I want X for it. And I said, well, I hate to tell you this, but the house 2 doors up, which is 500 square feet larger, 2 years newer, and has a pool, sold for X. And he said, you can't count that, that's a foreclosure. I said, well, you can say that.
But the comps still go together.
And the guy that buying it, the foreclosure was in great condition.
He doesn't care.
He doesn't care if it's a foreclosure. He's looking for the most of that house for the least amount of money.
Right.
So I always tell people, if your next door neighbor goes into foreclosure and you're having to compete with him, it does have a negative effect on what you're able to get out of your property. Fortunately for the average seller, the number of foreclosures is down significantly, but we still have a few of them. You know, we just
better than it was a few years ago, though.
Oh
that's
my gosh!
For sure.
Yeah, well, in 2010, 1 out of 4 houses that sold on Hilton Head were foreclosures.
Wow.
I don't know what the number is now, but if I had to guess, I'd say 1 out of 40 There's a lot of difference in 1 out of 4 versus 1 out of
Yes,
40.
your odds are a lot better that way.
Yeah.
Huge difference.
So, Mr. Wedgeworth, you've been in the real estate industry for a little while now here in Hilton.
34 years, if you call that. Who's counting?
Yeah.
You know?
And you know, when things are going well, it's an attractive industry for young people to, you know, gravitate towards. Do you have any advice for maybe some of our younger viewers who may be interested in entering the real estate market, you know, as a business person?
That's a good question. It's really hard to break in the real estate market. Somebody asked me the other day, in the last 10 years, how many people do you know that have broke in cold turkey, meaning just started, that have made it? And I thought a while, and I said, well, I can think of 2. And they said, 2 out of how many? I said, probably 1,000.
Yeah.
They said, wow, that's not very good odds. 2 out. It's hard to break in because you're having to compete with experienced agents that have clientele, that have the money to market, that have great websites and have marketing budgets. Here's what I tell people. I get asked this question all the time. I would recommend 1 or 2 things. I would recommend you work for an established agent as like a buyer's broker, or possibly work for a developer that's like a home builder until you can build up clientele. Because the main thing you got to have is clientele, and most people, when they break in you, they don't have any clients. Well, how you gonna get clients? You know, you stand on a street corner, but it's kind of hard to get them.
Although we now see some mentoring going on from the more experienced agents who've been around longer, who are trying to help bring some younger blood into the market.
That's why I say go with one of those people.
Yeah.
Well, James, thank you so much for joining us today.
It's always a pleasure. I appreciate the service y'all provide at 843.
All right, and please come back for one more segment of 843 TV.